And I'm back. So yeah, I made an outlandish claim that I was going to post a YouTube video every week on my channel. And I'm sorry I didn't keep to my word, but I got so caught up on TikTok videos and then the pandemic and all kinds of stuff happened. But I'm back. And I have made a promise to spend the next 90 days really building my YouTube channel and sending my love to all of my followers here. Today's topic is how to stop intrusive thoughts. Now, if you've never met me before and this is your first time on my channel, my name is Paola Rosser. I'm a spiritual mentor and life coach. And a lot of my clients who are female come to me to let go of their fear and stop letting it hold them back. And I really focus on letting go of anxiety and letting go of the self-defeating thoughts, because I have learned from my own spiritual journey that that's exactly what's holding us back. Our own self is holding us back. There is no one else. So if you're sitting there thinking, no, I blame this person, I blame that person, or this person did this to me, trust me, I spent 20 years blaming my mother, when in reality, she stopped abusing me when I was 17 years old, and I was the one that abused myself for 20 years after that. So this is how I tell my clients who come to me how to stop their intrusive thoughts. And intrusive meaning they are negative, they create negative emotions, and they hold them back. So my problem was when all of this started, I could even tell you the day, it was in March of 2006. My father died unexpectedly, and it really threw me into a spiral of depression. I had just gotten out of a really toxic relationship, and then my father just suddenly dies. It wasn't something that I thought was ever going to happen, because he was in his 60s, and I just thought maybe he was going to live until he was 80s, 90, maybe even 100. But my father didn't make it that far, and he died unexpectedly, and it caused me to go into this like spiral of depression. I was grieving, and there's no rule book on how you're going to grieve and how it's all going to work. Yes, there's the steps of grief, but for me, I just got stuck in my depressive thoughts. Now, growing up, I had an abusive mother who was both physically and emotionally abusive. And some of the things that she would tell me were that I was unlovable, that I was unwanted, that I was crazy, that I was dramatic. So that was the record that played in my subconscious mind. Now, if you don't know about subconscious minds, I'll do a whole nother video about that, and comment if you want more videos about how to reprogram your subconscious mind. I have done so much research, and I've read so many books by so many amazing people that I have just learned a whole bunch of tips and tricks on how to reprogram yourself. So going back to the intrusive thoughts. So intrusive thoughts come into your brain. We all have them. From the moment you wake up, that's the first thing that comes into your mind is an intrusive thought of what didn't you get accomplished the day before? What are you going to accomplish today? And somehow, if you have grown up with trauma, or if you have had a negative relationship with either a friend or a boyfriend or a partner, then whatever they commented to you, like if they said you weren't good enough or you're not pretty enough or whatever, those thoughts immediately start to come into your brain. And what happens is when these intrusive thoughts come into your brain, it causes you to have an emotion. So I talk a lot about how thoughts trigger an emotion, and emotion triggers action or inaction. And so if we have negative thoughts, then the negative thoughts will cause a negative emotion in your body, which will then cause you to have the type of action. Most of the time it's inaction, because our fear and our anxiety and our stress is caused by these intrusive thoughts. which tell you you're not good enough, or you're unlovable, you're unwanted, or what's the point, what's the use, nobody cares. We've all had those thoughts at some point in our life, whether it was because a death in the family or a divorce or a giant betrayal of a friend. These things come up, especially when you're in a low point in your life. And so for me, when I was in a low point, when my father died, I had no answers. I didn't know what to do. Actually, I didn't know anything about self-development or self-help or emotional intelligence. I had no clue about this, okay? I am Mexican. My family doesn't even do therapy, okay? So I had no clue on how to navigate my own grief or navigate my own intrusive thoughts. So it wasn't until I discovered the power of YouTube and the free content that is everywhere on YouTube. So I started to take control of my thoughts and my habits every single day. So instead of letting my brain take over and allowing it to just run these intrusive thoughts over and over and keeping me in a depressive state, keeping me filled with anxiety, filled with stress, filled with grief, and then making me so inactive that I would literally sleep the day away or just stay on the couch watching like mindless television without moving my body. I had to change the original source, which is the thought. So this is how I did it. Number one, I would wake up every single day, and before I would allow myself to check my email, to check social media, to check the news, I would immediately put on my headphones. I use my headphones all the time, so I would immediately put on my headphones. I have a set on the side of my bed and a set in my office. And so I put my headphones on and I will search motivational YouTube videos. And then eventually you'll start to find people that you really like and you'll start to follow them. Like I love Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Gabrielle Bernstein, Steve Harvey. There are so many people that do motivational YouTube videos. Will Smith. So I would look them up and I would just watch one after the other. The entire time I am making my bed, I am brushing my teeth, I am blow drying my hair, I am getting ready for the day. I'm even like tying my shoes. I don't stop allowing the motivational YouTube videos to go into my brain. Why? Because I'm trying my hardest to not allow my brain to have its own control. So I listen to motivational YouTube videos. And then before I get started, I do before I leave the house, either to work or to go work out, I would do a 10 to 15 minute guided meditation. Because if you've never meditated before, what happens is you sit in your silence trying to do the whole woo meditation, and then you realize that your brain is starting to again go into intrusive thoughts. It's out of control. It just starts to think about like, oh, I forgot the curling iron, or oh man, I didn't fold the laundry. And then guess what? When you find out that you didn't do something or you didn't check something off of your to-do list, especially moms, you start to berate yourself. Again, the intrusive thoughts begin. You're not good enough. What kind of a mom do you think you are? Or you suck as a wife. Or even if you're not married or don't have any kids, you just go back to your old ways of like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're unworthy, nobody loves you, this is why you're still single. Like all these negative intrusive thoughts start to come into your mind. So that's why I always tell my clients that in the beginning of their meditative practice to start with just 10 to 15 minute guided meditations. And then I always tell my clients to move their body. When you are in a depressive state, when you are feeling low, the best thing you can do is move your body, whether it's exercising, whether it's dancing in the kitchen, whether it's just going for a walk and getting outside of the house and getting some vitamin D, sun. It's so important for you to move your body. And there's so many different things that you can do. You can do Zumba classes on YouTube. You can, do a dance class on YouTube. You can do yoga. You can do just like a plain old walk around the neighborhood and just time yourself. If you're really, really sad and really depressed and you're going through one of the darkest nights of your soul, then just time yourself. Say, I'm only going to go for 5 minutes, or I'm only going to go for 10 minutes. Or even if you just go around the block and it takes you 2 minutes, that'll be enough for you to kick off the serotonin and the dopamine in your brain. And while you're doing your walk, make sure you're listening to something positive like a motivational YouTube video, or maybe even download a book. Audible books are the best. And if you think, oh, well, I can't afford Audible, that's fine. There are free books on YouTube everywhere, like everywhere. Just say free books on YouTube or free Audible books, and you will get an array of books via Google. Now, those are the top 3 things that I tell my clients to do to stop the intrusive thoughts, to get control of your thought process. And then I have them to implement affirmations and other things. But if you're new, because if you're going through a really depressive state and a dark night of the soul, the affirmations are going to feel fake to you. And I never want anyone to feel fake about their spiritual healing. So the first thing we need to do to stop those intrusive thoughts is the 3 things. Number 1, motivational YouTube videos from the moment you open your eyes, as you're making your bed, brushing your teeth, getting ready for the day. Number 2, a 10 to 15 minute guided meditation. And number 3, move your body. Get out, go get some vitamin D, get out into just nature and move your body. So, and while you're doing it, make sure you're listening to something positive. Don't allow your thoughts to be in control. You take control of those thoughts. I hope that helps, and make sure to like the video, share it with a friend if they need to hear these top 3 things on how to stop intrusive thoughts, and make sure to comment below if any of these things worked out for you, and if there's any way I can help you or any other content that you would love to hear from me. And I will be here next week.